Before you watch this video, I just want to say that this is a video that can really, truly help you if you pay attention to the points that I've mentioned, take down notes, and write it down. Write it down, take down notes, and keep it somewhere and refer it from time to time. I can challenge you and tell you this: if you really absorb the information that I share with you in this video, it'll actually help you in your relationships, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, whether live-in partner or marriage. And you'll seriously thank me, because this is the information that I've taken from over 100 books, over the past like 20 years, from my own personal life to the lives of my clients. And because I'm a student of learning and growing, I did take those notes when I started off. And today it's just ingrained in me. So I hope you do the same, and I hope it improves the quality of your life. Finally, I'd just like to tell you that if you do watch the whole video, mention down below that you have seen it, and let me know what are your questions and thoughts, because I genuinely want this video to help you and benefit you. Because remember, this information that you're getting for free is what I normally charge my clients. So I'm hoping this video blesses you as much as I enjoyed creating it. Having said that, let's start. People get very surprised when they come to know that people actually pay me money to seek my advice, guidance, counsel, or opinion with regards to marriage or relationships. Okay, they get very surprised. They're like, what the hell do you know about marriage? Or what are your credentials to speak about marriage? Or, oh, look who's talking, a guy who got divorced 3 times, married 4 times, who had multiple partners. And to them, I simply give the answer: whom should you go to for advice? Someone who had a smooth sailing life, or someone who had so many ups and downs, but despite all the challenges, finally succeeded in the end? See, when you go to someone who has a perfect marriage, perfect marriage, they both are nice and everything is happy, they'd not be able to help you in terms of practical advice. But if you actually find someone who had a plethora of broken marriages and finally succeeded in making a marriage work out, there can be some insights you can learn from them. So what I tend to share is mistakes I have made and lessons I've learned from it. And because people approach me for professional advice or personal advice, opinion, suggestions, whatever you call it, people even share with me relationships and marriage advice. And over the years, I have gotten better at it, because I've listened to the female side of the story, I've listened to the male side of the story, and I can tell you this much, if whether you believe me or not, I have been able to predict most of the marriages, marriages or relationships, whether they'll work out or not, with a fairly high degree of accuracy. Like I'll give you simple fundamentals. Okay, you can also do it. Like, for example, simple fundamentals. Let's say a guy and girl met each other in high school. Okay, and they're madly in love with each other. High school. What are the chances that they're going to get married and live happily ever after? I know that it's not going to work out. That puppy love that you call it when you meet in high school or when you meet in school doesn't actually translate to a lifetime of being together. Why? Because the guy has not seen the world, the girl has not seen the world, the guy has not explored options, temptations, freedom. The girl also has not explored options, temptations, the freedom. And I'll tell you, if they, for example, they both were staying in India, and one guy goes to Canada and the female goes to United States, and suddenly they're surrounded by people from different cultures, or let's say a multi-millionaire, very super uber rich guy approaches the girl. She's not going to get married to Ramu from the village. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that it never happens. Yes, there are rare cases where one rickshaw guy in India found this hippie, white, blonde female, and now she's staying with him, in the poorest of the poor. Those rare cases you'll get. But I always tell people exception to the rule is not the standard. Okay, is not the standard mean or whatever. So, coming to the red flags, or how you can predict a relationship will break up or not with the exceptionally high degree of accuracy. Now, remember, this is not only me sharing from my own mistakes, the 300, 400 girls I've had in my life, whether it's one night stands or medium or long term relationship, long term in the sense of just 2, 3 months, which was not very long because I was always hunting for the next best thing. My 3 divorces, 4 marriages, me searching for the right girl, because of which I got my 4th wife, but also dealing with clients. And most importantly, I spend a lot of time reading, researching, and I was genuinely interested to understand men and women. Okay, the psychology of marriage and relationships. In fact, I recommend if you want to do in-depth reading, you can read from John Mordechai Gottman. Okay, American psychologist and professor emeritus of psychology. His focus on divorce prediction, marital stability is pretty good. If you can get his work, read it. He has written around 40 books. So the more you read, the more insight you'll get. Okay, so I'm giving you a summary of all those relationships, all those experiences, and what I've read in the book. And feel free to post your questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions down below. Okay, starting with the first one. The first one is the intuition. You know or you feel that the marriage or the relationship is not working out. When that doubt creeps in, I don't think it's working out. Or you suspect, oh, my partner, I think she's losing interest, or I think she's, meeting someone, or you suspect the guy. Generally, that intuition or that feeling is true. Girls are more better at having that sense than guys. Sometimes in guys, it is jealousy and paranoia, okay, because of low self-esteem. But where girls are concerned, the intuitive level is very high. So when they do suspect, or they say, I smell something fishy. Okay, it's not that he's smelling fish. There is something funny going on. And in most cases, they do know. Okay. And this intuition can be because of actions like, for example, when you are on your computer, you are locking your door, or you take your smartphone and you're sitting in the toilet and there's a long drawn out conversation, or, you begin to wonder, what are you doing in the toilet? Okay, I know there are some people who like to browse through the internet, watch movies and all that. But here I'm talking about relationships, which didn't happen before, but now it's happening. And then you have, let's say, 2 SIM cards, or your phone is locked. Okay. Or you start getting crazy calls. Oh, sorry, wrong number. And that suspicion builds up. Or you're coming late home, or, where have you been? And the person sounds like, oh, that was a great time. Or I'm going for a business trip. So all these things, these acts which are not normal, and the intuitiveness and the suspicion builds up, that itself is a massive red flag. Pay attention to that. Okay, but like I told you, if you're a guy with low self-esteem and you just have paranoia, I would say ask someone who's mature to guide you on this. The second one is, the core reason why is this happening, and the main reason why it happens is because people have lost the common ground on which glued them together the first place. Like, for example, when you both fell in love, maybe you like sports, she likes sports, you both met each other. Like, I met a girl when I was doing my triathlon practice. She was a Filipina, and I used to bump into her almost every practice, whether swimming, whether running, whether it was, swimming, running, cycling. Yeah. So eventually we got close. So common interests. Okay. But then after you get married, maybe you continue, she doesn't, or she gets pregnant and she can't, or you're not working, she's working. So when that common ground is no longer there, that closeness, the time spent is also less. And that is where you start falling out of love. Or let's say, for example, both of you had a goal to go to Canada. And then one fine day when you start talking, she says, "No, I'm not interested to go to Canada. Just want to be in India with my parents." And he says, "No, but I always told you I want to go to Canada. No, I want to go to India. My parents are more important. They are only there for years." So you get what I'm saying. So that is a common ground. Okay, when you lose that, then cracks start. The second one is when you start focusing on the opportunity cost. This is a terrible thing, huh? Like, for example, let's say you were madly in love with this girl, and she was slim and she was beautiful and she was sexy, and then you found this other girl, and she was also beautiful and sexy, but not as hot as the first one. But the second one was, sorry, the first one, she really was crazy about you. But the second one was like great in sex, and she had a rich parent, rich family and all that. And then you have to choose between A or B. And let's say whichever you choose, whether you choose the really sexy one, slim one, or you chose the other one, was not so sexy, not so this thing, but she was very rich and successful. So you got married to the second one because you thought, well, they'll help me sponsor my business, they'll help me run, they'll help me migrate, and it's more stable there. And then after you get married, you suddenly, maybe her parents decide not to give you any money, or there is a fight, or they lost all their money. And now, you know, you start thinking, sheesh, man, if I had got married to that other girl, I would have been happier because she loved me more. She's more beautiful. And one fine day, if you actually bump into that other girl and you notice she's still slim and she's still hot and she's still this thing, while this one has become fatter and uglier, you'll be like, sheesh, man, if I got married to her, whatever, my life would have changed. And this actually happened. I'll make it very short because I don't want to drag this. Female had to choose between two guys. One was a hunk working for an airlines as a purser. The other guy was dark black South Indian, but he loved her like crazy. The first one loved her, but the second one loved her like mad. And he begged her, pleaded her, and all that. And well, can't blame. She married this guy. He looked very Kashmiri, very white, big build, big muscles, and all that. So she got married to him. Well, guess what? After, I think, 20, 30 years, she had 4 kids with this guy. But now she was fat. He was also very fat. And, they're the typical. But this guy, he turned out to be a multi-millionaire. He struck it big, really big, by a chain of line of businesses. Don't want to mention who's he because then he's very visible. So, and I'll tell you, I've spoken to her multiple times. There's not a day where she regrets. And his wife has everything in the world. She doesn't have to go for a single day to work. Well, this one still has to go to work. So, yeah, they focus on the opportunity cost. The other thing which they focus on is now, before they would focus on only things that made them attracted to you. Oh, he loves me so much. Oh, he writes me love letters. Oh, he does this for me. Oh, he'll not sleep until I call him. But then they start focusing on the indifference. He is very lazy. He smells sometimes. Sometimes not in a mood. He doesn't take me out. Or another thing is, the standard by which they give you, like before he would talk to me for 12 hours a day. He would make love to me for 4 hours. He would take me for a movie, whichever movie I liked. He would shop for me every month, $2,000 worth. And now if he's not able to maintain that, before $2,000 he used to spend, now he tells you, okay, we are married, then you spend your own. I'll spend my own, you spend your own. So you'll be like, Before marriage, you used to give me that. Now, look at you. Yeah, then he'll say, you're earning, no? You take care of yourself. Because he doesn't have to impress her. Even though before also she was working. But that time he wanted her, right? Or let's say before, when they're having sex, he would go down on her and satisfy her until she orgasmed, and he would do that for 1 hour. But now it's like, just shut up and sleep, yeah. I don't have time for all this. Because before her body was slim, now she is fat. Maybe he'll say, you just give me what I want and I'll sleep. So you understand, he is not giving her the attention, or she is not going out of the way to please him. So the indifference and the inability to maintain the standards. Like before, you're very sweet. Now you're very, I care a damn. Okay. The next point is boredom. Oh my goodness. If it comes, this will come. Not if it comes, this will come into a relationship. The boredom, the mundane, the routine. It's like you get up in the morning and your mouths are smelling, your bodies you have that morning odor, and you just are like sloggy, and you just want to have a bath and get fresh, and your head is paining, and you want to have your black coffee and sit on your iMac or your computer. And she also, her hair is all disheveled, and she's tired, and she also has to have a bath and get fresh, and then she has to cook for you or cook for the kid. Or so it's, and when you do this every day, day in and day out, you know how she looks, she knows how you look. You know how she looks when she is naked, she knows how you look when you're naked. She knows your mood swings, you know her mood swings. And you both are not going out, both are not traveling anywhere, both are not doing anything exciting except going to work, paying your bills, taking care of the house. That boredom comes in. And that is where the question is, now, why should you work hard on the relationship? Okay. And that brings me to the next point is, if one of the partners is still quote unquote attractive and the partner gets attention from somebody else, that is where the relationship starts moving from the beginning to the end. It spells doom. In some cases, many cases rather, for men, they will actually try to search this thrill of sex, anticipation of the unpredictable, newness of the relationship by going to sex sites, porn sites, OnlyFans, Instagram. They position themselves as single. I know there are even youngsters have opened up to me on this. Girls, they are 18 or they are 16 or whatever. And, I don't want to get involved in that because of the age. Just imagine a 16-year-old girl telling that she knows this guy who is in his 40s, married with 2 girls who are of her age. And how she bumped into him is because that is her friend. The friend's father, sexually approached this girl, managed to impress her with the attention. First, she thought he was like a father figure, but then, they started to get frisky. And he's giving her all the bells and whistles, the money, the attention, secretly, So then, you suddenly get into a whirlwind of like, whoa, wow, because you are deeply searching. For the girl, she is in that phase where she needs validation. But for the guy, obviously his wife is old. Now he has 3 daughters who are 16. So he's searching for something new. Yes, it's illegal. Yes, it's like you can call him a pedophile. But it's not just limited to the girl. They go to dance bars. They go to prostitutes. They go online, sex chats. They go to OnlyFans, see live videos. Why do they do all that? Because now they're looking for something more spicy, something more new, something more exciting, unpredictable. And in some cases, if the guy has a dynamic personality or the girl is still attractive enough, in the office, someone starts flirting with you mildly. And before you know it, because you're spending so much time in the office, you take the person out for a date or a cup of coffee, and you start spending more time with each other. And maybe that person's single, or maybe that person is in a marriage that is broken or boring. And you both start having that exciting, unpredictable feeling. Your hands touch each other by mistake, and you drive and, you hold each other's hands and suddenly you park the car and you just want to smooch. And I'm giving real life examples and do stuff or try some kinky new sex. So given that we are also in a day and age where today the smart device allows you to explore the world without having to leave the four walls of your room, that temptation and those so-called opportunities are definitely a very big red flag for any relationship. Okay, so it depends on either of the partner if they are expensive or they have temptations or they have too much of a sexual libido. Then the next one is the most toxic. The next 2-3 points. I have said this to my clients, and this I've experienced with less of girlfriend and the girlfriends I've had, more with the long-term clients. It's called familiarity breeds contempt, or contempt as they call it. When you, let's say for example, you meet someone for the first time, you're totally in awe. Like many clients, when they speak to me, they tell me, oh my goodness, I'm in a slight state of awe because I watched your videos for all these years. For me, you're like this superstar, and now I'm actually talking to you, so slightly in awe of you. So I tell them it's normal, because I know after 1-2 sessions, after a few minutes, sometimes they'll be okay. So the first time when they see, they're like, wow. But after a couple of interactions, they're normal. They talk to me very normal. They don't feel awe and nothing like that. Even, for example, let's say I've had people who have worked for mega superstars, actors, celebrities, singers, whether they are an event management company or whether they are a talent managing agency or whether they are shopping for them and they are their right-hand guy for shopping. I've spoken to these people. And initially when, they tell me when I first met, let's say I'll give you, for example, Kim Kardashian or Shah Rukh Khan or Amir Khan or, Sanjay Dutt or whichever actor, actress, say, let's say anyone who you admire. Okay. Even meeting Jordan Peterson, let's say, first time you be like, oh, awestruck, wow. But then when you spend time with them, then that shyness or craziness goes. Even, let's say there was one of my clients, his dream was to meet one of these Mr. Olympia, Kai Green. He finally met him. First time he met him, his heart was beating. He was shaking nervous. You can Google search Kai Green, Green. I think Green. Okay, wait, let me just check his spelling. So the first time he met him, Green bodybuilder. Kigreen. He's a bodybuilder. So he's a rich client of mine. So when he met him the first time, he was in total awe. Even one guy I know met Francis Ngannou, who's the UFC fighter. Total awe. But after, paying them for a month session or whatever, that craziness dropped off. Even one YouTuber, his name is from Nick Strength and Power. When his channel blew up from hardly any viewers to millions of subscribers, now he's more or less like the number one bodybuilding YouTube channel. And he actually got, his channel blew up so big that when he was covering bodybuilding shows, Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, decided to appear on his YouTube channel and, interact with him. The first time he did it, and he gave the backstory, he said, my hands were sweating, I was shivering, and he said, I did so many stupid mistakes. Like I said, Mr. Arnold, it's nice to meet you. And I shook hands with him, and after 2 minutes, Mr. Arnold, it's nice to meet you. Shook hands again. He's saying, I was so nervous, it was crazy, I fumbled up. But now, after a couple of years of interacting with the shows and with Arnold, for him, it's normal. Anyway, don't want to drag it too long, but what I'm trying to say is, when you're with a person constantly, initially when you meet the person, your heart is beating, fluttering, and you're nervous and you get crazy. And some guys even have told me, when I see her and she touches me, I get wet. You get wet means he climaxes in his pants itself. But then after a couple of meetings, you're like, nothing, Okay. So familiarity breeds contempt. And this leads to the more horrible part is where they start disrespecting you and taking you for granted. This is a problem I've had with my clients. When I help them achieve success, like one of these guys, I helped him get 3 times the salary he was getting, got him to a multinational company, very high position. Both of us worked equally hard, and he paid me good money for my service. Okay, but I worked very hard for him to help him succeed, and he got the opportunity. He got one of the hottest girls he would never get. Got married into a very rich family, good family. He got a very high position. I know, sounds like a fairy tale, but I'm telling you the truth. If you want to believe, you can take it. Because it's too good to be true. But I'll tell you the bad part. Uh, so he got a very high salary. He was able to purchase his dream car. That was uh, kind of a Rolls Royce. Okay. He actually, the family actually kind of helped him for the marriage gift or whatever. So everything going on good. And after nearly years and years of being coach and mentor and mentee, he finally started to get overconfident because, yeah, now you have access to big cash, you're traveling around the world, first class. And then he started to disagree with me, which he used to never do. Then he started to point out my flaws. And very soon he started to give me advice. Out of all the things, he booked my session and he would give me advice. Why don't you dress up properly? Why don't you act like this? I think you're wrong. So that is why I told him, boss, I think it's time for us to part ways. I've helped you achieve your dream. You paid me good money. Okay. But I think it's time to part ways. And here's the funny thing. When we broke up, he actually told me this. I think, Loy, take my advice. Stop being overconfident that you think you're always right. Kind of gave me a lecture, but I didn't want to make things worse. I just bye, didn't respond. That's it. So this is the same thing that happens with relationships. In fact, my wifey. I mean, when we got married the first time, because it was the first time in the village, she didn't even want, not exaggerating, didn't even want like $5 being spent on her. She didn't want gold, even like $50 worth of gold. She didn't want. But after getting married for nearly 10 years, 10 years or 8 years or whatever, I'm very bad at numbers, from $50, I've made that video. She actually asked me for 55,000 US dollars gift for gold, $55,000. And I don't blame her. I blame myself because every year I try to outdo what I gave her the last year. So imagine, for a girl, $50 was super expensive. She didn't hesitate to ask me 55,000 US dollars. So, yeah, that is how familiarity breeds contempt. Okay, next one. Let's not dwell on this too long. Same thing about contempt. First, the person starts being very sweet, very humble, very loving, very caring, very giving. But then the person can't maintain those standards and it reduces. And then it focuses more on themselves. And that is where the person who's not getting the attention starts to criticize, which leads to the next massive red flag is criticisms. When they both criticize each other for their simple flaws or their shortcomings, that is something which really breaks up any relationship. Why don't you act like this? Or they give first suggestions and slowly they start, you don't look this, or you don't do that, or you're smelling, or for example, you're always throwing things on the ground, or what the hell is this? And you're not keeping this clean. And, they are always getting faults and flaws. And when you criticize someone in a relationship, it's like a jar. It's like you're depositing coins. Then the more coins that are filled, it grows, the frustration, it becomes pent up anger, and then it explodes. By the way, I'll give you a very interesting analogy where relationships are concerned, and this is one of my wise old friends told me this. He said, I'll give you a very simple example. When you find the girl that you love, for the first 5 years, every time you have sex or you initiate, either of you put one coin. Okay, first 5 years. After the 5th year, Now, every time you have sex, you remove a coin. Every time you have sex. So the first 5 years, every time you have sex, you put a coin. After the fifth year, every time you have sex, you remove a coin. He said the number of coins that you put in the 5 years, even after a full lifetime, you'll never be able to empty that, because the amount of sex you'll have, the intensity, the passion, it just dies out. And he say there'll be enough and more coins left for another lifetime. So, uh, something to share with you, which was very wise. Then finding faults and pointing flaws definitely breaks up or creates cracks in a relationship. And then when you have recurring complaining, nagging, pointing of flaws, like you never do this, you're always like this, you're always lazy, or they question your spending habits or your drinking habits or your friends, and they keep bringing it up. It's like that pressure builds up. It just reaches a point where it explodes, and then when a person can't take it anymore, no, then they get very personal, or they get very they can be very hurtful. They can literally tell, press the buttons that really hurt you. They can literally tell you, oh, is that why you're not able to earn a higher salary? Is that why you're still a failure? Is that why you're in the same position? Is that why nobody wanted to see your face? Is that why your boyfriend broke up with you and dumped your ass? You can say things. And once you say it, it's like a bullet goes out from the gun. You can never bring it back. And the relationship, it's like glass. You have just cracked it. You have hit them where it hurts, and they can never ever forget it. Okay, never. So common fights for recurring issues. Then the bigger one for this is, sometimes people, they fight and they insult you and they give you all these kinds of shit, and you begin to wonder, like, why are you always fighting? Why are you always this thing? And you begin to think, like, man, should I even go home and take all the lecturing and the bullshit? And here's a funny thing. They're not actually fighting, oh, where is the money? Where's your salary? Where have you taken care of this? Where have you done that? Their actual agenda is something else. And it can be deep rooted, psychological. Maybe they believe that, oh, he's giving me less attention, so that yearning is there. Or it can be that someone is chirping in their ear and telling them, your husband doesn't love you. If he loves you, he will say this or say that. Or the mother and father is busy brainwashing the person's mind and saying, you have to put your foot down and take control. So when you have someone chirping in their ears and telling them what to do, oh goodness, it messes up everything big time. Big time. Okay. And maybe you'll never know that. You'll never know that someone is like giving them the key, like they say in Hindi, chavi. And you'll begin to wonder, why they're acting so funny. That is why I tell people, when you get married, no, keep your relatives and her relatives far away, and you move far away and stay. Because the more they get involved in your relationship, the more problems and complications it takes place. Seriously, I'm telling you, this is for a fact. Okay. And then here are the points where once the relationship becomes worse, this is where it reaches complete destruction. Okay. And what are they? The first one is the buildup of bad memories. And when you are in love with the person, you think of only the good things: beauty, sex, romance, go out, holidays. But when you lose interest in the relationship, you'll only focus on, oh, that time he hit me, he gave me this bad word, this is what he said when we fought. Or you start looking at the bad memory and you only remember them and you only highlight them. You just forget all the good things. And it can really create a blind spot, a kind of a bias where all the sacrifices are forgotten, just the bad points are highlighted. It's like you might have a good marriage for 10 years, but the 1 year that you're fighting like mad cats and dogs, they'll only focus on that. The next point is, every conversation begins and ends with an argument. It's like you don't respect the person, so obviously you don't talk sweet. Before you talk, hey sweetie, hey Hanu, honey bunny, oh hey kuchiku, hey my love, and you hug and kiss, and after it's like, listen, what about the electricity bill? What about the student fee? Our kids' school fees. When will you fill that up, or when will you pay that? Or why do you always talk to me like this, man? And you never listen to me. Why the hell is the toilet a mess? Or why is the kitchen this thing? Why did you cook like this? So every conversation is hostile, and it begins with bitterness, and then you don't enjoy talking to the person or being around the person. It's just so toxic, the whole thing. And then the attitude is either you win or I win. Whether it's an argument, whether it's your space, whether it's something that you want them to do, it's like either you win or I win. And you begin to think of ways and means, I'm going to bring this person on his or her knees. So it becomes like this competition where you really want to humble and destroy the person's ego or bring them back to earth, as you call it. This also fucks up a relationship, yeah. Uh, Point number 4 in the relationship ending is being defensive. Anything you tell the person, the fault is yours. Like, for instance, today the food is not good. Yeah, last time I made it this way and you complained. Now I made it this way and now you're complaining. Or you say, salt is too much. Didn't you tell me last time you want more salt? So it's like, no matter what you say, there's always like, you didn't call me. What do you think I'm doing in the office? Sitting and doing nothing? For instance, one of the silly ones that me and my wife have, ask her, you didn't see this lying down? Like there's something like right in the middle of the house, like maybe it can be a blob of clay or water or some dirt or dust, or it's like you pass by 5-10 times and you begin to wonder. My wife also has seen this. She's not doing anything, so you begin to see when does she remove it. Then finally, when you can't take it, you're like, listen, I've been seeing this the whole bloody day. You are seeing it, but why the hell are you not picking it up? Like you moving your leg over it. In fact, there was one. My wife is very famous for this, which I remind her sometimes. There was an empty, 3-4 empty cans near the toilet door. I wanted to see when my wife will throw it out. It was there for 3 months. Seriously, no exaggeration. Until the point where rust and this thing started to come, and I finally, 3 months, not exaggerate, 3 months, I waited. I actually put that date. I finally told her, and I showed her photographs with that date because I knew that she would ask. I said, now do you know why I get pissed off? I wanted to see when you'll clean this part out. So, yeah, okay, in me and my wife's case, fine, we understand each other, but this can be a major problem with other relationships where you're just being on the defense, even if it's your fault. Okay. This one is a term that I got from the guy, what is his name? The same, John Gottman, stonewalling. The partner becomes so emotionally disengaged. It just stops participating. It's like you can't take it anymore. You're just fed up. You don't want to hear anything and you just decide to walk away. Okay. It's like you can't take that shit. You can't take the argument. You can't take it. It's like, oh, come on. Not again. I don't want to listen to your shit. Please stop. Just stop. And you realize, yeah, it's no point. Just fuck it. There are many times I've seen guys actually, they go home and when they start hearing the wife nagging, they actually get down of the house. They'll go sit in a restaurant. They'll sit in a coffee shop. They'll even spend time the whole day in the gym, but they'll not go home. Okay. They might even book a hotel room and, sleep there. Just come in the morning. Another one is flooding. Once again, I have to give him credit for this, is where you become so emotionally overwhelmed with all the criticism, the hurt, the relationship where you just either end up crying or you're just fed up of crying. It's like you can't think clearly, and especially females, when they feel emotionally broken, where the guy's screaming, shouting, beating, hitting, they just bottle it up and, then they'll go to their friend or someone and they'll just pour out over there, but they'll not do it in front of the husband or the spouse or the wife. Even nowadays, in cases of men, they're so overwhelmed with all the negativity, the toxicity from the girl's sister, brother, parents, everyone. that you're not good, you're not taking care, you're a loser, you're a this, you're a that. They just want to sit in the office and never go back home. So for them, home is like it's like one of the worst. It's like dipping yourself in acid, you know. And this leads to physical distress like headaches, or you've seen some, they say, no, psychological illness, even though it's not real. Like people have back pains, people have headaches, people have blood pressure. I know there are some guys who are late in their 50s or 60s. They actually send me audio clips of their wife screaming and shouting. Oh my goodness, when I play those audio clips, there's like shouting and screaming, and then there are plates being thrown and things being broken, and they are shouting so badly and such bad words. It's like, and it's not a small video audio clip, not video audio clip. It goes on. It's like one guy used to literally send me like 10 to 12 each, like 20 minutes, half an hour. I used to feel sorry for him. I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Screaming, huh? It's like the whole house. Maybe even the neighbors can listen. So, and he had massive blood pressure. He had diabetes. He had headaches. He had joints pain. All because of this. I told him all because of this. And finally, eventually, he listened to me and broke off that relationship. And today, he has lost around, I think, 12 kilos. His diabetes is slightly, reduced. Cholesterol is still there. Headaches are more or less gone. And he's trying to keep himself fit. So, a toxic relationship can fuck up things, yeah. And then I think the final 2 points is, when they genuinely want to make the relationship work and they go to psychologists, psychiatrists, and they keep trying, but they keep failing. Every time there is a failure, you begin to get convinced this relationship is over. Even if, unfortunately, maybe you're going to the wrong person. Maybe you're going to your parents. Maybe you're going to her parents. Maybe you're involving the families. Maybe you're involving a psychologist who is a dumb fuck. Maybe just the degrees. So every time this happens, you just believe this relationship is gone to the dogs, not worth it. And last but not the least, it's all the bitter, bad memories are so much, you don't want the relationship. And here, people do two things. Either one, they decide, I'm going to seek a divorce ASAP, or they decide, I don't want to rock the boat. I'll remain married for the sake of the children. Let the wife do her shit, I do my shit. We'll just be married namesake. And we'll try to do things and get away with it. Either case, it's hell. It's not worth having or being in that marriage. So these are the red flags of a marriage and a relationship where you can predict with almost 100% accuracy that this relationship will break up. I took some time to do the research for all this, from my clients to my own personal life. So let me know, what are your thoughts? Comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I hope this added value. If in case you have watched this whole video, just mention it down below that, yes, I've watched the whole video, so I know who you are. And it'll be great to acknowledge your ability to watch a video. And it kind of gives me happiness to know that, yes, after all the pain I've taken to make the video, there's someone who genuinely benefits from this. All right, good, bad, ugly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is me signing off. Take care.